name is Linda Miles. I am the lead for mentorship initiatives at IIE. I'm joining you from San Francisco this morning. It is 7 o'clock in the morning here, so I'm sitting here with my coffee, and I'm so happy to reconnect with everyone. And we're joined here with Allie. Hi, Allie.
Hi, everyone.
It's been about a month since we all chatted, so we thought it would be a good opportunity to check in. Before I officially get started with some of our agenda, I just wanted to remind you all of some of the tools that we have available to us using GoToWebinar. So I'm going to go ahead and start a poll just to make sure that everyone can hear us. So I'm going to launch this right now, and you will see on your screen that I've distributed a poll, and you'll click either yes, you can hear me, or no, not yet. And we're collecting responses. We have about 58%, 100% can hear us so far. So for those of you that see this on your screen, make sure you're clicking. 83% have voted and can hear us. I'm just going to try to get the final percentage. We're at 92%. Okay, if you haven't clicked on the screen, I'm going to close it here in a second, but I see that most of you can hear us. All right, we're at 100%. Thank you so much. So the poll function is something that we'll use throughout our time together. Not necessarily today, but we'll definitely have a lot more webinars. The next thing that I want you to do is you'll see that you have the questions chat box. In the questions chat box, I'd like for you to type in the city and the country that you're joining us from, just as a test to make sure that you have this function. So again, in the questions chat box, I want you to type in the city and the country that you're joining us from. Great, I see Delhi, Taipei.
Awesome.
Wonderful. From all over, we love it. Perfect. All right, last one. I want you all to practice using the raise your hand function. So if you're joining us using your cell phone or you're on a desktop, you'll see the symbol of a hand with your hand raising. I want you to click on that so we can practice that.
Everyone's hand is raised.
Perfect. All right, so just as a reminder, there are many ways for you to speak with us today. I'm going to go ahead and unraise everyone's hand. One is to type in a question. So Allie and I will be monitoring that throughout our check-in time together today. If we don't get to all of the questions, don't forget you can always ask us. We're always available to you. In addition to that, you have the raise your hand function. And the reason that we want you to use that is that that's when we know to unmute you. So you'll probably notice either from the orientation or from this morning that you are automatically muted in a platform like this. It's not because we don't want to hear from you, it's because we tend to be surrounded with some background noises, and that's fine. But if you have a question, we'd love to hear your voice and love to give you the opportunity to speak to the group. There's about 15 of you on the line right now. You'll notice that more will join us throughout our time together. Don't be shy. I'm sure many of your questions you have together. So it's really great to hear from you and to be able to share out. So just raise your hand, and once we see that your hand is raised at the appropriate time, we'll unmute you and we'll listen to your question and hopefully be able to help. I'm going to get started. Again, this is recorded, so if any of your friends on the program or other mentors were not able to attend, we'll be sharing this out using the resources tab in the Cronus platform. All right, so just as a reminder, my name is Linda Miles. I'm coming from the San Francisco office. I'm the lead for mentorship initiatives at IIE. I work not only with the WeTech Qualcomm program, but also with several other programs that involve mentorship. I love mentorship. I think it's such a huge component of my own personal success. I know a lot of you will get so much out of it. I am the main point of contact for all the mentors on the program. I just want to make sure that they have all the resources that they need to give you all, the scholars too, everything that you can possibly get out of them. They're so willing to help you. And I just want to make sure that they have all the tools. And Allie, you can give a brief overview of what some of your responsibilities are too.
Hi, everyone. Hi again. Good morning. I'm Allie. I've been working pretty closely with many of you over the past several weeks. I'm the main point person for the scholars in this program. So, like I said, many of you have reached out to me, and please continue to do that if you have any questions at all about the program. And yeah, so I'm just your main point of contact. I'm here to guide you, help you, and point you in the direction of any resources that you need to make the most of this program with Linda.
Yeah, Allie and I work really closely together. We meet very regularly and always want to help. And we definitely, I mean, I can't speak for you, Allie, but I know that we share this sentiment. We love this program, and we so enjoy hearing from you. Just as a reminder, we did have an orientation as we were kicking off the program a little over a month ago. So just in review, the Global Scholars Program is hosted by IIE. It's part of the WeTech initiative. Qualcomm is a big proponent of women in tech and education, and you're part of a pretty big network at this point. And I want just to remind you of all the resources that you have, either with us, just through this one initial program, and through the whole alumni network. You're part of something much bigger. And I want you to know that you should never feel alone. A lot of the scholars, you have a lot of common interests with one another. Mentors, you're here for a huge reason, and you have a you're here for a common interest and a common good. And I want just to remind you all of all the hard work that you're doing and how big of a difference that we see this is making. Just as another reminder, in in the Qualcomm Global Scholars Program, we have 20 mentors, 20 mentees from India, 16 from matches from Taiwan, and 12 from South Korea. So this is a very large cohort, and we're going to utilize all of your strengths. And what we're already noticing is that in orientations and webinars with this larger group, we get a lot more out of it. You all have a lot of questions, which is exactly what we want to see. We want to share those out and make sure that we share out best practices so that you get the most out of the experience. So not only are you going to be communicating with your mentor or mentee, just remember that you have a bigger network out there that you can always connect with. So where are you now? We hosted an orientation the first week of March. You have now likely been into Cronus quite a few times and seen all the resources that we've posted for you. And I just wanted to remind you of some of the tasks coming up. So as a review of our curriculum, we have several different milestones. And where you are now is you should have browsed through Cronus, become familiar with the resources that we've posted, been able to either message Allie and myself using the platform or message each other. We hope that all of you have set up your initial meeting with one another and have set up regular meeting times and started to think about some of the goals that you have of this time together. It's going to go by really quickly. So the reason why Allie and I have set these milestones and deadlines isn't only because of your scholarship. We've noticed as a trend, it's really important for you all to follow it in sequential order and with the right amount of time. So right now, you're what we call building the relationship and establishing goals. Hopefully all of you have taken time to either make a list, put together a plan together of how you're going to assess some of those goals and establish the regular meeting time. We'll go over this in a little bit more detail. And upcoming, and again, in this time, you're going to go over some of the tools that we've put up. So you've probably likely read through a lot of the mentoring tips that we have, resources for goal setting. you've established your regular meetings to work towards these goals, I really encourage that you stick with those regular meeting times, and the mentees have completed your self-assessment. What's coming up, I know for the scholars on the line, you have received your Strengths Finders test. And Ali will go over this in a little bit more detail here in a minute. But what's coming up next is milestone number 2. So you are completing the Strengths Finders test, and this month it's going to be your goal to be meeting with your mentor to talk about your results in a lot of detail. And you'll notice that of all of the milestones, this one probably has the fewest tasks. We think this is a big one, and we really want you to focus on it. Another thing that's going to be coming up in about a month's time is we will be hosting our first enrichment webinar. This is something that's going to happen throughout the program, and we're going to use the feedback that we received from you to make sure that we can utilize 1 hour to teach out something in addition to all of the scholars. And the mentors, of course, you're very welcome to attend as well. This is a professional development workshop. So what we've done in the past and what I'm planning on in the future, unless I hear from you otherwise, I'd like to put together for next month a webinar either on networking or interviewing skills. And what will happen is I will either bring in a colleague from Qualcomm, either someone in the management team or another person that's recommended by our very wonderful Qualcomm Global Scholars global team. Or I personally am in San Francisco and have a huge network of women leaders in tech. And I am very willing and able, and they love this opportunity to speak to all of you. So unless I hear from you otherwise, you'll get a lot more information from Ali and myself soon. And be thinking about some things that you want to see in the future or next month. We want to hear from you and make sure that we're catering these workshops specifically to what you want to learn more about. So please continue to be in touch. I know we've heard from you all a lot this month, but want to encourage you to think towards these enrichment webinars and get the most out of them. Ali, I'm going to pass it over to you.
All right, so continuing on that thread of making the most out of this program, I just wanted to review the expectations of you and your mentor, and these will help you, have the best relationship with your mentor and to make the most of this. So you always want to make sure that you're communicating regularly and appropriately with your mentor or mentee. And I hope that by now all of you have kind of nailed down a means of communication that works for you and your mentor, and establish regular communication with your mentor. I hope that everyone is respecting each other's time and schedules, and you're accommodating and cooperative, and you come together at times that are convenient for both of you. Hopefully you've been using the online mentorship platform Cronus to communicate and go through your tasks, and I have noticed that many of you have been doing this, so bravo. You'll be completing the whole mentorship program, all the 6 milestones that Linda just referenced, so make sure that you're completing your tasks on time and paying attention to the due dates for the tasks. Most of you have been doing that, so thank you. Throughout the program, you're going to be working to identify and refine your career goals and develop a plan to achieve those goals. So that's ongoing, and hopefully you've already started that process with your mentor. Please be sure to complete all the program surveys on time. We did have a great response to the pre-program survey. The mid-program survey will be coming up, so keep an eye out for that. It'll be one of your tasks again. And then also please continue to bring any issues to our attention as soon as possible. We're both here. Contact me since I'm your main point person, but Linda will also step in if needed. And just any trouble that you're having or any issues that arise, please let us know right away so that we can help you resolve them. So with that, I'm going to pass it back to Linda for a couple more minutes.
Great. So one thing that I did as a result of all of the you also completed a pre-programmed survey and we got some really interesting results. It's really great for us to be able to read some of the common goals that a lot of you have. I created a word bubble from some of the common themes that we saw. And what I want you to make note of, scholars that are on the line, is how much you all have in common. So you wrote down a lot of your goals for the program. Maybe you wanted to work on one specific technical skill and you're looking to your mentor to give you some resources to get to that point. Or maybe you just generally want to work on some career building skills, or improve your time management, or there's a handful of things here that we noticed. You want to work on your soft skills, um, improve your coding abilities, a number of things. I just wanted to remind you all that all of this is very possible as long as you stick with your meeting times. This is a common goal. Be very clear with your mentor what your interests are and address this every time you all speak. As a reminder, your mentor isn't going to give you all the answers. It's their job to guide you to them. So your mentor is very much your connector to information. It's not up to them to give you all the answers. They likely will give you some food for thought, as we say, some things to think about when you get off the phone with them and do further research on your own. You'll notice that a lot of times they'll say, I felt the exact same way as you when I was in this point in my career or in this point in my school time. And that, to me at least personally, when I was in a mentorship, either formally or informally, just felt really good to know that I wasn't alone in some of the struggles that I was having or some of the interests that I wanted to learn more about. So just readjust this every time you speak and always think towards this first month that you just experienced. You spent a lot of time assessing your own interests. And just remember, several months down the line when you're well into a lot of these other tasks and milestones, that this is the core of why you're doing what you're doing. So I want you to continue to explore your goals. These might change too, and you can always add to this. I also wanted to point out to everyone on the line how interesting it was to hear from the mentors as well in the pre-program survey. Mentors, we so thank you for volunteering on this program and committing so much of your time to these scholars. I pulled some language that I saw as you were telling us why you wanted to be a mentor in this program. They primarily are here to help. You all want to share your experiences with students and learn from them as well. In all the programs that I work with mentorship, the underlying theme that I always see is that mentors and mentees get the most out of it if you put a lot into it. Mentors, I want you to keep your energy high because you are going to get a lot of great questions from the scholars on the line. And I just wanted to remind you of how fruitful this relationship can be on both ends. And how important and long lasting it can be as well. I always hear from mentors how much they get out of it personally and professionally through these relationships. And again, just wanted to thank you. And I see that your goals of this program are exactly where we want them to be. You're here to help. You're here to help communicate. You're here to better careers of women in STEM. With that, Allie, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank you, Linda. That was wonderful. So I just wanted to review the Cronus platform a little bit more with you all. I know you are probably very familiar with it now, hopefully, but I just wanted to go over a few, point out a few tools that you may not have noticed, and make sure that you are aware of everything that you're supposed to be doing. So Linda, can you go to the next slide? So, there we go. So what you're mentoring, when you go and log into Cronus and you look at your mentoring connection, it should look like this right now. Your first two milestones, the introduction and the milestone 1 should have all of their tasks checked off like this person has. And each milestone, just to make sure everyone is aware, each milestone expands to show the tasks that you need to complete within that milestone. And these are the items that you have to check off. And the due date is there on the right, and you should complete and check off the tasks by this date. So yes, so far you can see the latest deadline was March 30th, and that was to complete milestone 1. So if you haven't gotten this far already, or if you haven't checked off all these tasks, make sure to try to catch up as soon as you can. Don't freak out, but we do want you to stay on track. You go to the next slide, Linda. So right now, as Linda mentioned a little bit earlier, you should be working on completing your milestone 2 with the last task in this milestone due April 20th. And this milestone focuses on assessing your strengths. And you'll see that one of your tasks in this milestone is to attend this check-in webinar. So congratulations. After this webinar, you can go ahead and check this off today. So that means you only have one more task to do, and that will be to complete your Strengths Finder assessment by April 20th. And then you'll want to review and discuss this with your mentor. I'm going to review the directions that were emailed out to you in just 1 minute. But please, I just want to reiterate, I know that we keep talking about checking off your tasks in Cronus, but it's so important for me to be able to send you your second scholarship payment, and this is the only means we have of knowing that you've completed the mentorship program. So that's why we keep reiterating the importance of checking off your tasks and really making sure that you're completing every step of the program so that we can pay you. And I also just wanted to point out a really cool tool that this scholar and her mentor have made a great use of. And this is a messaging tool that's like actually within your mentorship plan. So as you can see there on the side, this tool on the right side of the screen, this tool allows you and your mentor to leave comments and communicate with each other. And then this communication is linked directly with a specific task. So it's not a message that you're sending back and forth. It's directly linked with one task. And you can see which tasks that you and your mentor have commented on because there will be a little thought bubble. You can see I've highlighted it there. That'll appear next to the task due date. So I encourage you guys to use this tool. It's very cool and it's efficient. And I think it's a really great way to communicate about a specific task or a challenge you're having. So please reach out if you have any questions about this. All right. But besides that, I just wanted to make sure that you don't forget that you can also message your mentor via the overarching messaging tool that you can see here. And I know that several of you have made use of this already. You can also schedule meetings, and several of you have done that. If that's an effective way for you and your mentor to plan out your meetings with each other. But just, Linda mentioned this before, we hope that you're communicating regularly and you're scheduling your mentoring meetings in whatever way works for you. So you're welcome to Skype, FaceTime, email, text, or call your mentor or mentee, or use the Cronus platform. We do encourage you to use Cronus, but whatever form of communication is easy and accommodates both of your schedules. Whatever is most efficient for you, that's what we encourage you to make use of. And I hope by now most of you have agreed on what form of communication works best for you as a pair. Next slide, please, Linda. So I just have a couple more notes about tasks. If you're having difficulty deciphering tasks or understanding the directions, please don't hesitate to come forward and contact me or Linda. We are here for you, and once again, it's so important for you to complete the tasks that whatever you need, whatever help you need to get them done, we're here to help. So with that, I'm going to turn to the Strengths Finder assessment. So this is part of the milestone 2, as I mentioned before. And I sent instructions via email about how to log in with the access code. And this is the screen that I sent you a link to that you will enter the access code that I sent you. So I just wanted to make a couple notes. Several of you have already emailed me about logging in, and we've had to troubleshoot a couple of access codes, but just a few notes about this. Make sure that you leave yourself enough time to create your Strengths Center account and complete the entire Strengths Finder assessment all in one sitting, because you can only log in once with this access code. And if you are having trouble using the access code to log in, I just wanted to reiterate that make sure you're using your desktop and not a tablet or phone. I think that was an issue for a couple people. And also, I encourage you to try to use the Google Chrome browser. That seemed to work better than Internet Explorer for this for some reason. And if you're still having issues logging in, please contact me directly. There's only been a couple, but we just want to make sure all of you can take this assessment. And I think that it takes about half an hour to create your account and complete the assessment, so just make sure you give yourself enough time.
And as a reminder, this Strengths Finder test is for the scholars only, and then it's up to the mentors to then work with them on it.
Yes, so you'll definitely want to part of the task is discussing the results of your assessment with your mentor. So scholars, make sure you bring this your results to one of your meetings so that you guys can review. And with that, I just once again, we're always here. Contact us with any questions or concerns or comments about the mentorship program. If you're a scholar, I'll be your point of contact. I'll continue to be your point of contact. And if you're a mentor, Linda is your point of contact. But both of us are here to step in no matter what. We're here to help you, encourage you, and we hope that you are not shy about coming forward with any questions or issues or comments. So we will now take your questions.
We know that we covered quite a bit again. We're about half an hour into the webinar, and we have another 30 minutes scheduled, so plenty of time for any burning or new questions. As a reminder to mentors and scholars on the line, you are not alone in them, so don't be shy.
Mm-hmm. Or also, if anyone wants to share a great conversation they've had with their mentor or share what their experience has been like so far, we'd love to hear that too.
This is the part, Allie, where I hope everyone's just typing and I don't know
it. Please don't be shy. We're here to answer questions.
All right, we'll leave it open for probably another couple minutes because I know that it's hard to gather your thoughts. You've probably either had a recent conversation with your mentor or scholar, or maybe it's been a couple weeks. So you probably need some time to think about any questions you might have. And just to reiterate, this isn't the only time to ask them. We're always available to you, but find that these opportunities to connect with all of us together is really helpful.
we have a question.
So the question is there any problem if we delay in one of the tasks? Ellie, you want to take that one?
There's not a huge problem. We do want you to try to stay on task just because, or we want you to stay up to date with your tasks just because we don't want you to get too far behind. And there will be a point where you won't be able to check off your tasks at the end of the program, so we don't want you to be, completing milestone 1 in August. So there's not technically a problem, but I definitely encourage you to try to stay, to keep up and meet the due dates. Also, can I just make a comment, Linda?
Yeah.
That I forgot to include in the presentation. Everyone should have received their scholarship, their first scholarship payment by now. They should have received it before the beginning of April or within the first week of April. I heard from several of you that you did receive them, your payment. So if you haven't, please let me know right away because I need to take care of that for you.
Great. And then I see 2 new questions as well that I think one is very similar to what we just answered in that we have these hard deadlines set for a reason. You don't have to stick to them exactly, but we do need to monitor your progress. And we understand that with exams or with work projects for mentors, this would delay some of these tasks. If you feel like you're going to be delayed significantly, make sure you're talking with myself and Allie so that we can monitor your progress together, but we don't want you to go so off of the intended curriculum because we have them set with specific kinds of time in between each task on purpose because we don't want to overwhelm you. So if you find that you're going to need to stray off of the timeline significantly, make sure you're talking to us. And it shouldn't be a problem, but we want to make sure that we're accommodating for any large projects at work or school exams or vacations, but sticking with the curriculum still. And then we got a question, I'm thinking either from a mentee or a mentor about the milestone tasks and checking them off. We've purposefully asked all of the mentees, so the scholars, to check off all the tasks. This is very, very much because we understand that you're the one receiving the scholarship and the mentor is volunteering their time. Their time is extremely valuable, not that scholars isn't, but we didn't want to add an additional thing for mentors to do. So it is the mentee's responsibility, the scholars, to check off all the tasks. And the mentor, just to make sure that you log into Cronus regularly and to monitor your progress together carefully to make sure that you're hitting all the milestones.
We have another great question. In the self-assessment of milestone 1, there's a question, describe your current knowledge base as it pertains to the mentorship goals. Can you clarify what this means? So I believe, Linda, you can add on to this, just that the goals that you established at the beginning of the program, whatever you know about these or how you came about, deciding on these goals, or any knowledge that you have that'll help you achieve these goals, I think that should be part of your answer. Is there anything you want to add, Linda?
No, I think that's great.
I would like to spend, or one more question we have is, I would like to spend my scholarship for my higher studies. Is there any problem if we do not submit the proof of expenditure of that amount? Your proof of expenditure doesn't have to be the exact amount of your scholarship, but we just have to have any sort of receipt that shows, that you spent this, that you put this money towards something related to your education or your studies. It doesn't have to be the exact amount of the scholarship, though. We just need receipt and proof of purchase, proof of tuition paid, whatever you spend this money on, as it relates to your education.
Great questions so far. As a reminder, if you feel like it's hard to type out your question, you can also raise your hand and we're happy to hear your voice too.
I think Swetcha has shared that it's been a great experience. The mentorship has been a great experience for her so far, and her mentor has been very helpful and friendly. And she's very thankful for this opportunity. So thank you, Swetcha, for sharing that.
Great, we'll leave it open just for a couple more minutes. Hey, Allie, before I forget, is it possible for you? I want to make sure that all of the, in addition to the video that we're creating for everyone, can you cut and paste all the questions that were asked so that we can do like an FAQ for everyone online? For some reason, right now, I'm not able to do that.
I can try.
Okay.
Oh.
Again, I wanted to reiterate how great it is that you guys are asking questions. Everyone's going to have similar ones. So what Allie and I will continue to do is, you've probably noticed on the resources page in Cronus, there's a frequently asked questions section. And if we find that some of the questions that you're asking during our webinars are not included there, we'll make sure that we include them. Allie, this is a question for you. Should we complete the scholarship amount for our studies within this academic year?
Either this, I'm trying to, I have to double check. It should be within this year, I believe, though. You might, I mean, between this spring and next fall.
So as long as they spend before, is there a given month in the fall?
Like it should be used, if you're going to use it for the fall, you would use your funds to, if you're paying for your tuition, say you have to pay in August for your fall tuition, that would be when you would use your scholarship for the fall. But because you also you'll have to submit to me that you paid for your tuition, so it can't be too much later than August.
All right, and just because I'm curious, and while we have everyone on the line, when you're logging on to webinars, are you using GoToWebinar on your cell phone? Will you raise your hand if you're using your cell phone right now? I'm just curious to see what the breakdown is. Raise your hand using the function that we went over in the beginning. Raise your hand if you're using your cell phone for GoToWebinar. Just one or two. It's great to know. I've been using my cell phone for GoToWebinar a lot lately. If I wasn't presenting, I'd be using it. And I just wanted to make sure that it works well for everyone. Thank you for sharing. I'm going to unraise everyone's hand. All right, last call for questions if you have any. And as a reminder, you can ask us anytime. I've so enjoyed our 40 minutes together. I'm really looking forward to the enrichment webinar that we'll be hosting next month. Again, to scholars and to mentors, if there's any issues that are coming up in your calls or questions or goals that you have that you want to be addressed in a 1-hour professional workshop, let me know. Allie, any last comments before we sign off?
Thank you everyone for attending today. And yes, if you have any